What's up, movie viewers? Dena Views and Reviews here. Once again, asking, what are you watching? Well, today I am offering my recommendations and suggestions on what you may be interested in watching, along with some new releases to look out for that will be coming to a theater near you this March. Since it is still officially Black History Month, I want to suggest Single Black Female. Starring Raven Goodwin as Monica, a Houston talk show host and celebrity of sorts, Amber Riley as Simone, who becomes Monica's overbearing assistant, and Kay Michelle as Vivi, who is Monica's best friend. And her mother, Denise, is played by Janet Hubert, who we all know from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She's the mom from The Fresh Prince. Now, Single Black Female is a Lifetime remake of the 1992 psychological thriller Single White Female. It premiered the first week of February 2022, and once again, this movie is very interesting because it deals with it from a Black perspective. Now, Monica, who is played by Raven Goodwin, she is dealing with the death of her father, and she later finds out that her boyfriend has been unfaithful to her. Monica has all that to deal with, and she is hosting an afternoon talk show each day. She learns that her assistant has quit and has to choose another one. So she meets and chooses Simone, who is played again by Amber Riley. Once she is hired, Monica is impressed with her. She is enthusiastic, she's friendly, and she quickly becomes her friend. So much so that Simone eventually moves into an apartment right next door to her, which that alone would raise red flags for me. Now, Simone and Monica becomes besties, but Kay Michelle, who is already Monica's friend, has a problem with that since she's the BFF. And she's not too happy to see Simone taking her place. And that's when all of the mischief began. But Kay Michelle let it be known, and that's not the character she's playing. She's called BB. She lets it be known that she's not too happy with this friend in Monica's personal space. And she points out that she's quite overbearing. So this movie was full of suspense. And you just cannot help but notice how much these two ladies, the leading ladies, resemble one another in actual life. Sometimes I had to keep up with the wigs to distinguish the characters. Now, even though this movie was very predictable to me, I simply loved seeing two beautiful Black women star in a psychological thriller. That was number one. And I love that the film did not focus on the fact that these were plus-size Black women. I get so tired of seeing the same phenotype women portrayed in all of the movies, as if the world does not have plus-size people in it. Or they make movies implying that every plus-size woman is lonely, depressed, or desperate for attention from men, and that simply is not true for everyone. And I really love this movie because it didn't emphasize these stereotypes. I have seen casting calls that call for the same phenotype over and over, and it gets boring to me. And I usually don't even choose to watch many of the movies because it's like if you've seen one, you've seen them all. I believe that Hollywood discriminates in that area, and it contributes to subconscious bias. And I would even go so far as to say it promotes propaganda that contributes to some of the stereotypes that we see in the society. Nevertheless, I simply enjoy seeing so many melanated people in one movie. Not so much that the storyline was great, but I like seeing movies that show various Black people casted in various roles. It's impressive. It's like all of the movies you see the same people with the same phenotype, and that simply does not interest me because plus size women exist. They are beautiful, and plus size women have some of the same issues going on in their lives as women who are not plus size. And it was great to see these two sisters in leading roles with love interests. Now, I give this movie a 3 out of 5 because I enjoyed seeing the cast members, as I said, who were a welcome break from the norm that is pushed on society, and it kept my attention the entire movie, even though some of it was not realistic at all, like the dead body next door that no one could smell until you go into the house. I'm sure if it's a decapitated body in there, it's gonna smell. But and then the other thing was, this girl was walking around with a severed head in a bag, and nobody noticed or smelled it. Or even when Simone knocked Monica unconscious and then she is later shown tied up upstairs. And in my mind, I kept thinking, how'd she get up there? How'd she climb the stairs and pick her up to take her up there? Wouldn't that be very, very hard to do physically? And there were just things like that that I noticed. And that is what stood out to me. Even with all of this, I still recommend you check this movie out. It is not a movie that I would recommend you allow your children to watch, but Single Black Female is directed by Sherry L. Carpenter, and it is playing on Lifetime throughout the month of February. And if you would like to watch Single Black Female, it is currently streaming on Hulu. So like and share your view, and don't forget to subscribe and comment. And remember, it's my viewpoint. Now, what are you watching?